The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here today. Today we're going to talk with the coach. We're going to talk again about how to grow your business either on a incremental basis, just by talking to your clients more about the opportunities in the 401k and IRA marketplace, or growing it on a larger scale basis using that same approach, but doing it in a seminar type of basis. So very good information that we're going to talk to Mr. Pimper about today. Hope you're all looking forward to the kind of the pre-holiday presentation with Dave. This is a great opportunity, I think, this time of year to be looking and planning for what are we going to do for 2019 to kind of get our business up to where that we want it to be. So whether that's talking to clients about things we haven't talked to them about before, or talking to more clients on the same subject, it's a great way to consider growing your business as we head into 2019. We got a couple of things that we're going to talk about here initially, and then we'll move it over to Dave Pimper. Looking forward to that as always. As you see questions that arise in your mind that you want to have addressed, go ahead and type them in and hit send. We'll get them handled as quickly as possible. There'll be a poll or two that will come up during the course of the event today. Obviously, if we can get those asked or if we can get those answered as quickly as possible, it helps us to get moved on. I know, looking at our group, we've got a good-sized group. We have a few of you that are not online to view, but are only listening, which is fine. A lot of what gets communicated you can take in just as easily that way. But if you do have questions, certainly after the event, give me a call here at the office. That's 800-255-5055. Again, my name is Steve Murray. I'm the Executive Vice President here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services, which doesn't really mean a lot. I guess my responsibilities here to make sure we've got good training, good incentives, that we are rewarding you properly from a commission standpoint, that we're helping you grow your business, and that we've got the right services and products that meet the needs that you have with your clients. So certainly if we have fallen short in any of those areas for you, I know that I'm probably one of those first people that you talk to, which is great. I look forward to chatting with you anytime. Again, our number here, 800-255-5055. What I'd like to do is go ahead and get started here this morning, begin by thanking you all for joining us. And I wanted to mention to you a couple of things that you can use on a daily basis to help grow your business that some of our competitors don't necessarily offer, or not at the level that we offer. One is our marketing reimbursement program, a very simple program. When you do business with us, we put money into your marketing reimbursement account. You can then go ahead and turn that around at any time just by sending us in a receipt. We'll match your spend dollar for dollar. So great way to kind of double up the value of your marketing. Also, our referred producer program. These are some of the larger checks that we send out. It's a pretty easy program for you to take advantage of. When you recommend, you might give us a call and say, hey, I've got a friend that's over in Tuscaloosa, or wherever that is, that I think might benefit from some of your services. We give them a call. If they contract, we'll send you out a check for $50. The great news there, what really amounts to those big checks that we send out, is as they do business going forward, we send you a bonus based on their business at the rate of about 20 basis points on the annuity side, and that converts obviously a much higher number on flow premium. And anything that they do, we compensate you as a little bonus. Nothing of that comes out of your pocket. or comes out of your referee's pocket, I should say. And there's no liability that you have to worry about at that point either. So there's a chargeback that comes along later. Of course, there's no liability on you for that. So it's a quick and easy way for you to kind of build a little mini organization, if you will, without the liability and the trouble and the issues that sometimes come along with that. And it's a great way for us to grow our business. So that's why we reward it so well. We can spend money a lot of different ways here to meet new folks, but none that I would rather spend it on than the way that we send it through the RPM program to our producers, because that helps them grow their business. And believe me, we get a lot better conversion when you recommend someone to us, and we get a lead via some of the emails that we do, or any of the other marketing that we do here at IAMS. So thank you all for your referrals. We appreciate that very much. Take advantage of marketing reimbursement. Let us help you grow your business. That's the bottom line on both of those plans. New producer builders, I know that we've got about 6 or 8 of you on with us this morning that have not done business with us before. So I'm going to go over this program a little bit. It's pretty simple. When you get appointed with IAMS and you start doing business, any business that you do during the first 180 days counts towards a new producer level. Those are point levels, and those points correspond dollar for dollar to annuity. We give you about 13 points for every dollar of target premium. I think we give you about 1.3 or 1.4 points for every dollar of single premium. Bottom line is, any business that you do with us during your first 180 days gives you points towards our new producer bonus levels. And you can pick from among many different ways. If you look, for instance, at the 500,000 point level, that'd be a $500,000 of annuity production as a for instance. For that, we can basically get you in this seminar business if that's what you want to do. And by that, I mean not only the mailing, but also the coaching, the seminar itself, and the A to Z assistance along the way. So great way to, if you decide that that's something you want to do going forward, shift a little business IAMS way and let us get you into that. And I think you'll find that'll be a way that will produce really literally thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for you in commission going forward. So great plan. That's what I'd like to do with new producer builders as much as we can, is have the reward be something that's not just, I don't mind sending out a Ritz-Carlton travel package to the Ritz-Carlton of your choice. But I think the greater benefit is things that we do to help you grow your business. And we really, for us, those are true loss leaders. We're going to lose a little money, on that reward, but gain money in the long term by helping support you and gaining that loyalty that we get when you help you grow your business. So really take advantage of those new producer bonuses if you have not already. Back office support, those of you in the 45, 50 of you that have done business with us already that are on here today, you know that we've got the best in the industry. My competitors would agree with that, frankly. If you said, hey, I want to go to IAMS because I got better support, they'd just say, oh, okay. Because we do such a strong job in that realm of the business. We want to make sure that the submission and commission process is as smooth, easy, and quick as it can possibly be for you. That's a great process as far as helping build your marketing and things like that. We're really good about that as well. Creative Marketing Solutions team, they've got great tools. They've got stuff that you get for free. They can help you with logos and business cards at little or no cost. They can set up your printings of your letterhead business cards if you want them to do that for you. Not much that they can't do in the basic part of making sure that you've got an image built that then you can put out there in your community to help grow your business, whether that's Facebook help, website help, digital solutions of all sorts that can help you grow your business. That is the wave of the future. You cannot ignore it. And we can help you with that. And believe me, they do the same thing for the same type of industry, the same type of folks every day. So they're good at it. They can save you a lot of time. They can really build an image that give you some great input that can help you be successful. Most of that stuff we do free of charge. Only the stuff that costs us money do we charge off to you, and most of that gets done via marketing reimbursement. So take advantage of our creative solution teams. Take advantage of our back office support. A lot of great tools out here on our website. If you haven't been to the website, what I would ask you to do, go to www.iamsinc.com. Register if you have not already, and then take a look around. Look at our support system. Go to support there, the support tab, and look at the IAMS library. If you want to look at the term quoter, we've got a great annuity quoting engine that can help you save a bunch of time. And when you're looking for just the right annuity for your client, there are a lot of things that we do. If you just want to see, go out there and look at kind of a thumbnail review of all the products available to you. You can do that as well. Just take a look at our annuity grid. A lot of great stuff out there right now to take advantage of. Retirement Analyzer, great little program. If you need a financial planning tool and you want to have something that is great to show your clients, very graphic in terms of how it explains to your clients where they're headed in for retirement and what they need to do different to make sure that they hit the goals that they want to. The Retirement Analyzer is a great tool. The benefit, the great thing about it from your standpoint is that we take care of that expense. So if you're doing business with IAMS, we take care of it on an ongoing basis. If you just want to have a look at it and see if that's something you can use, give Marcus Soller a call, have him walk you through how it works, what we do, what our other guys are using to help that be a big part of their business. What guys that use it on a regular basis, what they really were looking for was a way that they could go to their client and say, hey, independently, this is what I can show you of where you are. It includes Social Security information, includes all their investment, includes risk tolerance type things in there. So it's kind of a very high credibility program. It does take a little bit of work to make sure that you've got the right information going in. So you're going to learn about everything you can think of that you need to know about your client and their financial picture and a lot of what their personal goals and aspirations are through the fact-finding process. You put it in the system, spit out a great proposal, and then you've got a client that is going to be in need of updating to that proposal year after year after year. You've got a client forever, and we're going to take care of the cost for you if you're doing business with IAMS. So if you have not taken advantage of that, give Marcus a call and let him walk you through it. He'll get you a link, let you take a peek at it, see if it's something you can use. He'll walk you through a case or two if you'd like. I always recommend that a guy go in and do something on himself just so they can kind of see how it works and how it looks, and I think you'd be really pleased with what you can do with that program. And again, that's at no cost initially to anyone that's appointed with IAMS and ongoing to anybody that's in production with IAMS. IAMS Wealth Management, I'm going to shoot a quick poll up. The bottom line here is that having the ability to work with your clients with other than insurance products is a great way to increase your value to them and to grow your business by leaps and bounds, really. There's some testing, unless you've got a CFP or CHFC in some states, that relieves the need for testing. But if you don't have that, you'll have to go out and test for it to get your Series 65, and we can help with that. What I will say generally about the team over on the IAMS Wealth side is because IAMS Wealth is kind of an outgrowth of insurance agency marketing services. We work with a lot of folks whose primary business is in that insurance sales arena. So whether you're in the annuity business or the life insurance business, or either whatever you're doing right now, if you want to increase your value to your client and open up a kind of a new revenue stream, an ongoing revenue stream for your business, that's a great way to do it. All else aside, I think we have to be prepared at some point for some other entry by some regulatory bodies into our business that are going to require us to maybe either be very limited in what we can talk to our clients about, or have additional licensure in order to talk with them about securities products. So I think it's a great opportunity to do that. If you have considered potentially taking on wealth management, this is a great time right now to give the folks over at IAMS Wealth a call and ask them how they can help. We have helped many folks through the testing process and have had very, very high success rate there. We've helped many folks that were unhappy with their current wealth management firm, their current RIA, because they didn't give them the kind of support that they needed. They didn't really talk the language that they needed to be spoken to in, and so that makes a big difference as well. If maybe you're unhappy with your current RIA because their fees are too high or their payouts are too low. We've gotten really, really good feedback from folks that have had 7, 8, 10, 12 years of experience there in terms of our level of support, our cost, and our payouts being very, very competitive. So if you have interest in chatting with the folks, by all means, hit yes on that poll. I'll have Charles Hiring give you a call here in the next 24 hours, spend about 10 or 15, 20 minutes on the phone, whatever you need to understand what they do, how they do it, how they can help. And I think you'll find that there'll be some benefit to you there. If you haven't considered it, maybe it's time that you do. On the other hand, if you haven't considered it and you're really happy with doing just what you're doing, you've been pleased with that insurance side of your business and don't feel that pressure, that's fine too. Just hit no on that poll, and we'll be glad to leave you alone on the wealth management side of your business. So with that said, it looks like we have just about 3 or 4 of you that have not voted. I appreciate you. If you could just vote really quick, and we'll get this poll closed out and get moved on. Well, we've got some folks making that final decision. We actually each year have 3 or 4 training academies that we do. We call them the Annuity and Life Academies. We'll spend some time at various locations throughout, mostly here in the Midwest, but we'll try and do one in the south part of the country early. We pay for your transportation. We pay for your lodging while you're there. Of course, pay for your meals as well. In about 2.5 days, you're going to be out of your office really for 3 days of very, very solid training in mostly the sales and marketing part of your business. We're going to talk about product. We often do them in conjunction with a carrier partner. And so they'll certainly talk about their product a little bit, but mostly what we're talking about is how do you grow your business? How do you do more business? Because you and I both know that product is not the thing. So I'm going to close this poll out. Thank you all, by the way. Just one of you didn't vote, so that's pretty good. Appreciate that. I'm going to close that poll out. What you see before you is a little information on the academy that I've been talking about, and probably the centerpiece of that from our standpoint is having training from 4 top successful sales producers, and all of them are 65 licensed. I got to think about that for just a second to make sure that's true. So 3 out of the 4 are also 65 licensed as well as being insurance licensed, but the basis of their success over the years and years has been the insurance part of their business for the most part. And so they come from that background. So they've got some great information, whether it's a seminar, whether it's a great product sales idea, whether it is a different kind of approach to your business and kind of a business planning that can help you grow your business. And so that cornerstone of our Life and Annuity Academy really is hearing from those top producers. So every year we offer the opportunity for folks to let us know that they have some interest potentially in joining us for a Life and Annuity Academy. And then throughout the year, we invite them to that. And so what I'd like you to do, if you would, just get through this poll here really quickly for me. If you want information, if you want to look at an agenda on our Life and Annuity Academy, hit yes, and I'll send along an agenda. And then if you have interest, you have to let us know after reviewing that agenda, and we'll give you a call at probably 2, 3, 4 times during the course of 2019 and invite you in to one of the 3 or 4 academies that we're going to have during the course of the year. Again, we're going to take care of your expenses. Usually they go Wednesday through Friday. We have bring in Wednesday, whether via air or if you're driving, we'll pay for your mileage. We'll get you into a hotel and get you fed and take care of all the basics. And then for 2.5 days, you'll get a really good training on how to grow your business, learn a little bit about product, learn a little bit about what other successful folks are doing, and then you'll have the chance to mingle with about 35 or 40 people just like you that are looking for ways to grow their business that are already relatively successful in our business. So a great way to spend a couple and a half days, great way to kind of get yourself tuned up a little bit for what you're trying to accomplish in 2019. And we'd love to have you join us. And again, all of you have been really quick to vote on that one and a lot of positive results. So those of you that have voted yes, you'll get an email here shortly after the event here today. It'll have a copy of the agenda for you to look at. There'll be a registration opportunity. So if you want to register, when you register, what you're doing is saying, hey, I'm interested in coming in, and then we'll announce the dates for 2019 here shortly, and you can join us for the date that works best for you. So thank you all for voting. I see a few of you. I've got a question or two coming up. First one is probably going to be somewhere south. I don't know if we'll be looking at maybe Atlanta or maybe somewhere in South Texas, somewhere there, just to kind of keep us in the warmer weather. And that will probably be sometime in February, probably mid to late February or early March. Then we'll do one in May. We usually do one in the summer, and then we'll do one in the fall. Ones in the summer and fall, we'll probably do one here in Omaha. We might do one in conjunction with the carrier. Usually that might be in Des Moines. And then the last one kind of depends on how that all works out as to where we do that. So those are the locations. I don't yet have the timings. I know a couple of you wondering about that. So we do not have timing yet. The dates announced for 2019 quite yet. Soon we will. So if you have interest, let us know. And again, you've all been very kind to vote quickly, so I'm going to go ahead and close that poll out. If you're unable to vote and you would like to vote, or if you'd like me to send you that information, just give me a call at 800-255-5055. Love to have you join us down at the Ritz-Carlton at Naples, Florida. That's where we're going to do our next IAMS Top Producers meeting, August 25th through the 29th, right on the beach at the Ritz in Naples, Florida. Beautiful area. Be a great, nice, warm, sunny time to be down there. And we'd love to have you join us. Qualification is $3 million. It's ongoing. We still have until June to lock that up. So if we could help you get qualified for that meeting, let me know. We don't have a slide here on another convention that we just announced. The qualification on that one started in October, runs through the end of March. It's for Athene-only premium. That premium also counts towards our big convention at the Ritz. And if you want more information on that, give me a call. I'd love to have you join us at both, actually. So that's what's happening there. Oh, look at that. We also have with IAMS right now, we've got a ongoing incentive with Equitrust. Every $25,000 of premium you send us on the life and annuity side, you get your name gets put into the drawing. We're doing 3 or 4 drawings yet over the next few Fridays. We're going to skip this Friday, but every Friday through the 21st. On the 21st of December, we'll have the final drawing, and that will be for grand prizes of $3,000, $2,000, $1,000. So we have an ongoing chance to win each week, and then the grand prize drawing, which will take place. And the idea, of course, is to get that money in your hands right before Christmas. So hopefully you'll take advantage of that. We'd love to get a little bit of your Equitrust business rolling in here before the end of the year. Okay, with us today we have Dave Pimper, president of Lazarus Coaching. I've talked a little longer than I'd like, so I'm going to turn this over to Dave here fairly quickly. Dave, are you out there?
I am. How are you doing today?
Very well. I've talked too long, as you would be the first to know.
No, you did a great job. I was enjoying the information.
Good. Thank you. But I'm going to turn the venue here over to Mr. Pimper. Dave Pimper, of course, is president of Lazarus Coaching. Been coaching with us now for 12, 13 years. Doing a great job, great benefit to all of our producers. And when our producers get benefited, we know that builds loyalty and that builds our long-term viability. So we have a lot of appreciation for what Dave does for our producers. Our producers have a lot of appreciation for what Dave does on the coaching side, whether it's around Social Security, claiming seminars, or as 401k IRA rollover game plan and seminars as well. So, Dave, tell me a little bit about your experience before you get in. It's very impressive repertoire that Dave has. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Dave.
Yeah, sure. I'm from Fremont, Nebraska, and that's my home right now, and that's where my office is. I actually have an office in Fremont, and I have a location in Omaha, which is 30 miles away. And I'm in production just like everyone on this call. If you're an advisor, that's exactly what I do, and I've been doing it since 1981. So for 30 plus years, a long, long time. I like marketing, and I have found out in this business years ago, you can be the very best advisor. You can have the very best information to give, and if you have nobody to give it to, it's wasted. And so my business, and Steve can kind of attest to this, I get in front of a lot of people. And I do that through different ways of marketing. But one of the key ways that I do this is through public seminars. And I'm still old school, not that I don't do some social media some of the time, but I have found that the old mailing out the invitation the old-fashioned way through Pony Express through the mail has worked extremely well. We did 2 Social Security workshops and then 1 401k workshop here in the last 3 months. And what I have found is that especially with the market waning like it is, I mean just today, real time, market was down over 600 points earlier in the session. Now it's down about 335, but that scares people. And the reason it should is because we haven't had a 20% bear market in over 9.5 years. That's the longest bull market ever. And when you're showing part of your business of what you're showing is fixed and fixed indexed annuities and safety-minded insurance products that have guarantees, I'm going to tell you, people, when they got burnt like they did in 2007, 8, 9, when they got burnt in 2001 and 2, those burns, even though they've healed, there's still scars there, and there's mental scars there, especially on their portfolios of what they went down. So what happens on myself is I do a lot of workshops. I've done over 480 public workshops since the mid-'80s, and that sounds like a heck of a lot, but in reality, that's somewhere between 15 and 20 a year. And I do 2 workshops almost on virtually all of the mailings that I do. I do 2 workshops off of 1 campaign. So when you start to talk about 15 to 17 workshops a year over that time period, that doesn't sound nearly as intimidating. And the reason I've had success is because I'm consistent. I mean, do I have better and worse workshops? I certainly do. But in the last 3 actual workshops that I had 20 appointments. And when you get in front of 20 appointments, not counting your book of business and the referrals and calling on clients for reviews, but that's in front of a lot of people. And when you're doing that on an ongoing basis, you're feeding your pipeline. There's no doubt that the opportunity to do more business certainly heightens. So one of the key topics is 401ks and IRA rollovers. There's no doubt that my business revolves around the pre-retired and the retired marketplace. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. And what happens here is, I was just reading today that Vanguard has over $5 trillion of assets. I'm sure Fidelity has nearly that much, and American Funds is probably just a step down from that. There's trillions and trillions of dollars that are in 401ks, and most 401k plans are mostly made up of mutual funds. And what happens is, with mutual funds, they go up, they go down. If it's an equity fund or a stock fund, they've gone down much more as of late, 7% in the month of October on an average. And I mean, just some days are way up, but days like today where it's 600 points down, that's scary to people. And it's scary to me. I mean, I certainly don't want my clients to go in and to have big losses. So what happens on a workshop like this? It's pretty specific. So we're talking about rolling over qualified retirement dollars from the 401k, 403b, 457 government deferred comp plans. They're all kind of twin sisters and brothers. And what happens is, this is where a lot of money can either stay with the company, or we hopefully can give them better ideas and more to the point types of investments and financial strategies than maybe the availability that they have in the plan. One of the things I've also found, most 401k plans do not have a very good guaranteed account. There might be a stable income, which the average investor outside of the plan cannot get, but the returns on those have been under 1.5% over the last 3 and 4 years. So they certainly they do have a capital preservation of principal without it fluctuating, but it certainly doesn't have a very good return And that's one of the things that we have found. I'm just looking at one that I got from marketing. It's a 300 plus thousand, and he wants a good amount of that in a guarantee where he cannot lose money. So as we're going on today, I like seminars. It's not for everyone. There are people that cannot speak in front of public, or they have the jitters in front of public. Then this is probably not for you. This is a dinner workshop. It's not strong enough to be on itself. Social Security workshops are, but 401ks, this type of workshop needs to have a dinner. So by the time that you have the mailing and you have the dinner, you're going to be somewhere between $4,000 and $5,000 of cost. And I always say you could buy maybe not a great used car, but you could buy a used car for the amount of that money coming on in. So you have to have the money to invest. And there's an old adage about investing in yourself. It's true. If you invest in your practice, in particular marketing of getting in front of people, what will happen is that it normally will pay off. Not only giving great advice to that prospect or client, but of course in remuneration for yourself. So let's go into this. Those are the actual slides, but I'm just going to go through those much faster than I normally would, so we can kind of get done on time. But you'll get the gist of this. And this is really when you sign up and you have a track to run on, a kind of an A through Z track, but I'm coaching you. There's 5 coaching sessions. I get paid by coaching, not by the overrides or hierarchy of the business that you do. And so it's an ancillary business for me outside of production. I certainly make the majority of my money by far comes from production, just like it does with you. But I enjoy working with producers. I've done this for a long time, over 25 years. I've coached producers with sales process, marketing process, in lead generation. And so one of the things that most other FMOs are not going to have is someone that you can call virtually anytime that you want to help you with the subject, somebody that coaches you through the pluses and the minuses and what to look out for. So I always tell people, I don't mind if you get in the rumble strips. I don't mind if you get even on the shoulder of the road. Well, but when you get down in the ditch, all kinds of bad stuff happens. And what my goal is to keep you out of the ditch. My goal is to keep you on that 4 lane, keep you going straight and steady, and have the best chance to be successful at seminars. I'll say one more thing before I really start the presentation. If you've done seminars before and you did not have the success you were looking for, don't feel bad. Many people say that. I will tell you right now, kind of our system, what we do with this particular sector, and we're only mailing to those people that are just about to retire or are just retiring. What happens is that with coaching, with the game track of this, and I put this seminar together, and then IAMS, the FMO, they did all of the IT work and the PowerPoint work to make it look professional. But what happens is the odds go in your favor when I can handhold someone, and I've done this many seminars. Your odds go up to be successful. So let's start here. If you have any questions, certainly bring those up to me, and I'll be more than happy to go in and to help you with those. Okay? So I should give you a feeling here kind of what those slides look like. A game plan with your 401k and your IRA rollovers. So this is, now again, I'm doing this with you guys. I don't actually show this to the clients themselves, but a lot of times I'll say, well, if I'm an Annuity Academy, I'll have 35, 40 producers out there, and I'll say, who considers themselves an expert in 401k IRA rollovers? Who considers yourself an expert? And I'll get a couple of hands, a couple worthy folks will raise their hands, and then I'll say, well, let's take a test. So let's do that right now. Let's say you make your initial Roth IRA contribution for the 2015 tax year, April 15th of 16, which you can do. You can make it up to when you file. How many years do you have to wait to withdraw all of your money out tax-free, meaning your principal you put in and the earnings? So how many years do you have to wait till it's all tax-free? Well, everybody says 5 years. Everybody says 5 years, but you know what? It's only 3 years, 8.5 months. So how does that happen? Let's say you're putting in for the 2015 tax year, and it doesn't make a difference if it's the 15th of April of the next year. Everything goes back to a start date of 1/1 of the year that you're using the contribution for. Huh? How about that? So if you put it on January the 2nd of 2015, you have 4 years, 364 days, not 5 years. 4 years, 364 days. So not many people know this. Now, does that mean that you don't know much about retirement planning or 401ks if you didn't know this? No. But you know what? We go through a lot of unique information, and that's another benefit of the coaching. I always do it with the seminar because you need to get in front of people. That's how we make money. That's how we're able to help our prospects and clients. But just having knowledge, I believe knowledge is power in this business. And once you're in front of a lot of people, you can really turn that into the advantage of your pocketbook. Okay, what type of trust do you have to establish for your IRA when your intent is to make sure your designated human beneficiaries within that trust are able to stretch, that's called an inherited IRA, out for the tax deferral for their lifetimes? What kind of trust this is? It's a conduit trust, or it's called a see-through or look-through. You're looking through to seeing who those beneficiaries, those live beneficiaries are. What type of trust do you have to establish for your non-IRA with an annuity when your intent is to make sure your designated human beneficiaries within the trust are able to stretch out the tax deferral? It's a trick question. So if you said you can't do it, you're right. Can't be accomplished unless it's an IRA. Probably the 5-year rule would come into play of liquidation. What does the designation of Per Stirpes mean pertaining to beneficiaries? There's per capita and there's Per Stirpes. Per capita means per head, per living head. Per Stirpes means it goes down through the bloodline, the root of the branch, to the children normally is who it goes down to, even if the person died and didn't change their beneficiaries. So this is one of the first slides that I have, and this is what I cover in the beginning. Potential rollover options for your 401k, which is for-profit employer, 403b, nonprofit, like schools, hospitals, 457 governments. It's a government entity on deferred comp. They're all kind of brothers and sisters, and I will refer to 401ks, but I mean the three when we go forward. Why do we take the rollover slide first? It's big money. They roll over hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've had $1 million plus accounts roll over and do business with me. And I'll tell you something about competition. I mean, I have a perfect setup. There's a manufacturer that's close by within 10 miles of Fremont. I do a lot of business there. He came in from marketing, and I talked to just 300,000, but this is virtually all the money he and his wife have. She actually has a little bit in her retirement plan too, but they're not of retirement age yet, and so what happens is that there's not a competition. I mean, I'm not competing against the Merrill Lynches or the Northwestern Mutuals of the world, because 300,000, it's quite a bit of money. It's certainly a very good investment for us to work with him, and there isn't a ton of competition, or really on this one there's no competition. So it certainly heightens the idea that we will be able to work with him by giving him the very good ideas, but this is the kind of client that we're looking at. Now there are also much more wealthy clients where it does get more difficult because you're competing, but I'm just saying you got if you're swinging at enough $300, $500, $200, $700,000 rollovers, you're going to get some of those, and it's very good business, very sticky business. You can do nothing. You can roll it over to a new company. You can take a lump sum distribution. You can convert to a Roth. You can roll over transfers for the majority of the people that we do. So if you do nothing, and then I talk about why would you do nothing? Well, your existing 401k, do they force you to take the investments out? Well, if it's under 5,000, they probably won't. And if you do nothing, it just stays in your existing plan. Okay? I mean, that's an option. Secondly, why would you want to leave it in your 401k plan? Well, a lot of people haven't heard of the 55 rule, the 55-year age rule. So if you get let go, you have a triggering event, meaning you're fired, you're laid off, you're let go, you retire, and you're over the age of 55, but before the age of 59 and a half, as long that company plan, no other company plan, but that company plan that you have that triggering event from, you can take money out without a 10% penalty at the age of 55. Huh, interesting. So, this has been maybe a year ago, but I was working with a couple, about $400,000. I said, do you have any major expense coming up? They were 57 years old. I said, the next 2.5 years. And they didn't have much money in savings, and they said, we'd like to buy a car. And they wanted to pay cash on it, which I don't blame them. And so what happens is that we left part of that money in that 401k because they could take that out without a penalty. If you rolled it all to an IRA and you take a liquidation, now you got a 10% penalty. People appreciate the truth. Well, how does it benefit us by leaving money in the plan? It does not. It benefits the client. But that's who your focus should be on, is the client. If you do the client right, then normally the client will do right by you. Other considerations, I just talk about 401ks. In some states have a higher creditor protection. In the state of Nebraska, where I'm from, it doesn't make much difference, but some states it does. Why stay there? You're just familiar. You've been using Vanguard or Fidelity, and you're just comfortable with those funds. May offer lower fees with your current 401k. It just depends. There's some hidden layers of fees, but they could. And a lot of people, they're just lazy to take it out. It's easier choice to make. No decision has to be made now. Okay? So they leave it on in there. So remember, another bullet point was roll your retirement funds to a new company retirement plan. I go through some of the same things, but I talk about service and guidance. Who gives you that in the 401k? Usually no one. And they might say, well, I pay this guy from Fidelity. I pay him, $300 a year, and then he helps me rebalance. Well, is he going face-to-face with you? Yeah. Would you go in and have surgery over the phone? No, you wouldn't do that. So, this is important. This is your livelihood. So I tell people, I tell you something else. When people in IAMS, the FMO is very, very good at doing this also. They take pride in that you don't go into a phone tree. Press 1, press 2, wait and wait, press 3, wait, press 4, leave a message. No, they have a live person that answers it within 3 rings. We have a live person here that answers. I've had, quite a few times. I had $1 million plan come on in that I worked with years ago, probably 12 years ago, and from a local company here. And he said, you know what? I don't want to be put on hold. I want to talk to a live person. He said, I'm so sick and tired of going through that phone tree. Yeah, so service and guidance on that investment. Lump sum distributions, not a smart idea. They're going to take 20% out. So if you have $100,000 in a 401k and you take it out, you have 60 days to roll that over without it being a taxable event. But the government's going to take out 20%. They don't trust you with that money. They don't think you're going to pay it. So they take out 20 grand. To make whole on that again, you've got to go in and put 20 grand out of your savings. Not everybody can do that. Have the ability or have the funds to do that. But so that's called an indirect rollover. One of the good things that you can take a lump sum is called net unrealized appreciation, NUA. Now, if you're not securities licensed, you won't be able to do this, but you can certainly give advice or some information to them. Maybe they can talk to their CPA or tax lawyer. But let's say they have $400,000, and $100,000 of it is in the stock of the company. So I'm just making all this up. Let's say they work for Exxon Mobil Oil, and let's say that they have a $400,000 retirement plan. They're ready to retire. $100,000 of value is in Exxon stock. Okay. The other $300,000 are mutual funds. let's say that they want to be very, very conservative, and so they want that 300,000. They want it guaranteed. They do not want to take any chance. So you roll it over to a fixed or fixed indexed annuity, and that money would go from custodian to custodian, tax-free transfer, and continues the deferral until you take that out. Okay? How about the 100,000 in the stock? As long as it's highly appreciated. So let's say it's worth 100,000. Person's been putting in the Exxon stock for 30 years. There's a cost basis of $25,000. Well, if you roll it over into the regular IRA, that it's all ordinary income tax when it comes out, taxed at the highest amount, right? But with net unrealized appreciation, you move that out. Both of those events have to be done by the end of the calendar year, December 31st. Then you move it into a personal account, that 100,000 of stock, and you're going to pay ordinary income taxes on just the cost basis, just on the 25,000. On the 75,000, you're going to go on in, and it's going to be a long-term capital gain. Well, long-term capital gain certainly is preferenced for taxes over ordinary income. So when does this work? If you've got a fairly large amount, if you're in a fairly high tax bracket, and the stock is highly appreciated. If those three things come into play, I call it the triple play, yeah, you might want to recommend net unrealized appreciation to them. Most people and most advisors don't really understand that this is available. Now, when we're going into the workshop itself and I'm saying something like this, I've certainly done net unrealized appreciation. I've had a few, but most people, it's like, gosh, I wish I would have known that. I mean, I wouldn't use it, but I thought I knew quite a bit about this. What they think is, hey, all of a sudden Dave Pimper is an expert. He's telling them stuff they didn't know. He's helping him kind of formulate of who I am, what I do, and what I know. And hopefully they're going to mark yes on that consultation form that they're going to take out of their green folder at the end of the presentation. I have 4 or 5 slides like this. It says experience is a good school, but the fees are high. You probably don't want to try to do this yourself. I feel just like on that net unrealized appreciation, let's say that one is done in the mutual funds are taken out 1 year, and in the next year the stock is done. It makes it a taxable event for the entire thing. Can you imagine that? You want to talk to a professional that truly understands the ins and outs, and we always recommend that they talk to a CPA or their accountant also. So we talk about Roth IRAs, and I'll tell you right now, most people are traditional IRA heavy or traditional IRA poor. You know, they need money, then it's all taxable coming on out. But a Roth is just kind of the opposite of traditional. With a traditional, you get a benefit going in, a tax deduction. With a Roth, you do not. With the traditional, when money comes out, it's taxed at the highest ordinary tax rate. With the Roth, it's held for, now we know it could be as little as 3.5 years, but for that 5-year holding period, it's tax-free. There's no required minimum distributions on a Roth like there is a traditional 70.5. Yeah. You could also go in and contribute after the age of 70.5 if you've got working income. Now, there are income tax limits, just a little under $200,000 if you're married, filing jointly, and about $120,000 or $30,000 if you're single. But most people, that will not come into play. And then Roth conversions, taking from a traditional IRA and converting to a Roth. Why don't people, everybody wants to go to tax deferred to tax free. Why doesn't everybody do this? Because it's a taxable event when you do it. A lot of people do not want to go in and pay that tax to convert. But I'll tell you, depending on your income, depending on your tax bracket, depending on the length of time, but tax-free certainly is going to trump ordinary income tax down the road. And if I ask the average person, will tax rates be higher or lower when you retire down the road? Most people say higher, because that has been the trend for the last many, many years. If you have any question at all, certainly go in and type them on in, and we'll be happy to ask that. Roth conversion, the oops rule, can't, it's all done. Yeah. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, tax reform of 218 did away with this, so you cannot convert anymore. Okay? Sorry, kind of got ahead of myself there a little bit. So let's go in and talk about, let me go back on this a little bit here. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry about that. So let's go in and talk about how do you move your 401k to an IRA? Well, that's important to us as advisors because that's what we're vying for. We're trying to propose for this business. But there's indirect rollovers and direct rollovers. Indirect rollovers are when you take a check in hand. It's made payable to you. If it comes from a company retirement plan, they're going to take 20% out. If it comes from an IRA, they're not going to take the 20% out, but you can only do one of those a year. One of those a year on a direct or indirect rollover. So what happens is we recommend that you always transfer or you always directly roll over. So a direct rollover, no 60-day rule, 20% does not come out for withholding. You can do as many as you want. And this is the conventional one that most of us do. And we talk about why going from a 401k to an IRA. First of all, like a fixed index or a fixed, what's the internal fee? There, none. Fixed index, you'll have maybe a cap or a crediting option that has limits. You'll have surrender charges, but what's the internal fee if you have no income rider? Zero. Most likely, I mean, there's some things where if it's 100% participation, there could be an internal fee, but for a 1 year point to point, right now if it's 6 or 6.5 cap, no, there's no internal fee. A lot of people want to consolidate and simplify the older that they get. And then we go right into beneficiaries. And again, not going to take a lot of time here, but we go in and we talk about 7 types of beneficiary options. What's it called when you don't have any beneficiaries and you leave it blank? Well, you know what? Who's going to take control of that money? The government is. State government is. They're going to decide where that money goes. And it will probably go to the right place. I mean, whether you have children, but it may not. Naming your estate or will, you're guaranteed probate. Why do you want probate on a beneficiary item when that can go directly to the beneficiary with just basically a form of ID and a certified death certificate? Spouse, children, grandchildren. Charity. If you have a charity, I wouldn't leave a Roth just because a charity will take a traditional and turn it into tax-free. A Roth is already tax-free. Yeah, or trust. Okay. Henny Youngman says, I've got all the money I'll ever need if I die by 4 o'clock. Don't let that happen to you. And those kind of chuckle quotes are not supposed to get belly laughing. They're just kind of supposed to keep a serious subject a little bit lighter. We talk about inherited IRAs. I think it's important. Talk about separate account rules. On inherited IRAs, we show how it should be titled. John Doe Sr., the owner of the IRA, when he died, the actual date for the benefit of his son, the beneficiary. And then, so inherited IRAs or stretch IRAs, if dad's 85 and son's 55, the dad was going in and probably was at 6 or 6.5% of what he was paying or taking out for his required minimum distribution. The son at 55 might take out, I'm guessing, might take out 2%. So if the account makes 3, he took out his RMD, gets a little cash for the family, says thank you, my deceased father, and he makes 1%, and on he goes to the next year. Yeah. Inheriting money is really important. Now, the interesting thing is, you can't inherit normally out of a 401k or a 403b or a 457. The custodians do not want to have that time for record keeping because they think how long this will stretch out. But you can do it from an IRA. It's another good reason to roll that money into an individual retirement account and not leave it at the company. Remember talking about per capita, per head, and per Stirpes? We go into that. We also talk about transfer on deaths here at the bottom. That is a non-qualified or non-IRA where you have beneficiaries like at bank or in a brokerage account, personal account. Yeah. Bypasses probate, just like a regular a beneficiary. We talk about RMDs. It's a very hot subject about taking it 70.5, talking about, if you fail to miss. I mean, I just did one. I mean, she just called and said, I need to take my RMD out. And so I go off of the, Uniform Life table, and, she's 72. We need to take out about 3.9% of her amount. And I told her what it was, and it's a service that we do, for our clients. There's something called a QLAC. You know what a QLAC stands for? QLAC, Qualified Longevity Annuity. Government really likes those and promotes those, but it's a way to defer up to a certain amount of your RMDs. You can defer those actually up to the age of 85 in a guaranteed contract. And a lot of people like that idea of deferring their RMDs, and because a lot of people don't like to take their RMDs. Arthur Godfrey says, I'm proud of paying taxes in the U.S. The only thing I could be just as proud as paying half the money. No one likes paying taxes. $1 saved is truly $1 earned. We talk about in-service non-hardship withdrawal plans. That's called a 59.5 rule. When there's 70% of all companies, this was different than 10, 15, 20 years ago. Was it nearly that high? Only bigger companies offered this. But I'm working one with right now with a government entity that offers the 59.5 rule. She has $520,000, or she did until today. Might be down a little bit now. But what happens is that she wants to go in and take either she's going to take all of it out, or she's going to take a portion of it out, and hopefully work it with me. She came in from marketing, of course, from a seminar. And what happens is that you're able to work at the company as long as you're 59.5 or over. You can work there and take money out of your 401k without any kind of penalty and roll it on over, or take it out in cash and pay taxes. But hopefully, from the producer standpoint, you can roll that over. Yeah, pretty neat. In service, non-hardship withdrawal, and then we go through the ins and outs of that. Social Security. If you don't know Social Security claiming, you should. Really, I'm just going to tell you right now. Nearly 50% of all people rely a lot, not solely maybe, but a lot on Social Security. Even when I was just talking to a guy that between him and his wife, they made over $500,000 a year, and they came in because they want to know how to maximize their Social Security. Yeah. So what happens is that I also coach Social Security claiming with workshops that drive the upfront people to come to that. But if you don't have a if you don't have a real sound knowledge of Social Security claiming, to be a professional in this business, I think that you should. Only about 20% of all advisors really understand the ins and outs of Social Security, and how you can complement that with your ongoing assets and income streams. So, and this is a slide that I have at the end, but there's a lot to think about. It says the majority of retirees are not aware and don't understand all the rules when it comes to rollovers. Hold on just for a second. I got to get a drink of water. Hold on. Excuse me. And so there's a lot to think about. And this is, I love that thinker. I got a little statue of the thinker in my man cave at home. But there's a lot of decisions to make. And then what we do is we talk about taking out their evaluation sheet. We have I call it, because my name is Dave Pimper, the Pimper's Propaganda Packet. But I talk about a folder, and in that I've got several handouts, a little biography on myself, or a couple articles on myself that were written up. But what happens is I go in, I take this workshop evaluation. I said, if you mark yes, we have dates and times for you to mark, and you can come in and ask any of your questions on anything to do from a financial matters, but in particular around your 401k, your IRAs, your Roth, your beneficiaries, maybe deferring your RMDs and not paying taxes on those with the QLAC. We got a lot of information to cover. So if you mark yes, put the time and the date. Lynn, my administrator, Amy, will call you in the morning. Make sure that time doesn't piggyback with some other times we have with other people, because there'll be a lot of people that will sign up for the consultation. I give them a little time on that, and then I basically go in and I make a promise to them. I said, my promise to you is leave your checkbook at home. We're here to educate you on your 401k and IRAs, rollovers, etc. I'll say I'll uncover one financial problem, give you an idea of how to overcome that. But ask yourself some questions. You know, what are the best rollover options for my company retirement plan? If you've got a question on that, because you do have options, you probably need to mark yes on that consultation form. Could a Roth conversion benefit me? It's not for everyone, but I say it's like Cinderella's slipper. If it fits, it may fit great. How do I complement Social Security with my 401k? Have you ever thought that because 401ks has guarantees of year-to-year growth if you keep it in there after the age of 62? What happens is that it might be worthwhile to keep that money in your Social Security and let it grow at a guaranteed rate and take money from your investments. Have you thought about that? If not, you probably need to mark yes, because I have an expertise in that arena. How about different investment choices? Yeah, they might benefit you. Beneficiaries, one of the least inexpensive ways to go on in and to do estate planning is to have the right beneficiaries. And my wife says sometimes a second opinion is the best opinion. If you haven't had a true independent opinion on your financial matters as of late, I can do that for you. I can go in and kind of tell you what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, and maybe some of the things that you can do to crawl over those negative financial hurdles. So as we wrap up here, I just want to read a quote from George Foreman. It says, the question isn't at what age I want to retire, it's at what income. Yeah, you hear companies talk about what's your number, and they're normally talking about how much assets you need. I say it's even more important to know of what income you'll have to make sure that you can retire in the lifestyle that you want to. And then what I do here is kind of fun. I talk about George Foreman. Everybody knows him. He came back and won the crown several times, and made a lot of money in boxing. Does anybody know where George Foreman made most of his money, though, most of his net worth? And someone says the George Foreman Grill. And I said, that's right. I said, in fact, he got, not counting the overrides or trails that he gets per grill sold, but the company cut him way back when a check for $136 million to use his name. And then what I do is I look around the room and I say, so let me end on this note. Unless you have your name on a grill, I think you need to mark yes to come in to see me. And then people laugh. They might clap. I'll say, hey, we'll pick those up here within the next 5 minutes, and the salads will be coming on out. Thank you very much for coming tonight. Yeah. So quickly, I do have expertise in the seminar marketing business. It says over 400 public seminars. I've actually done 481 public seminars since the mid-'80s. I try to make a complicated subject much easier to understand. The coaching goes twofold. One is that it does teach you about the subject, but the second, of course, we're doing a seminar and really understanding that track record. You get everything that we do here when we do our seminars. And Lynn Feldhauser really is my in-house administrative staff that helps you with that. The cost of coaching is pretty reasonable. I charge $150 a session for 5 sessions, which is $750, as long as you're contracted and the intent of doing business with IAMS, the FMO. IAMS will pay for $555 if you qualify for the scholarship. Okay? So let's do this. Let's go in, and I'm going to kind of and I'll throw this over to Steve, but I use that in my workshops too. It says, procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. Tomorrow never comes, does it? If you heard something today that you thought you might be able to help you, and we're going to put a poll up here. If you'd like to get more information, talk with me, then you need to mark yes. You need to mark yes. And what we'll do is we'll sit down for 25, 30 minutes, and we'll go on in and just kind of see what you're marketing, what you're doing right now, a little bit about what your budget is. This is not for everyone, but I'll tell you right now, if you want to go and you want to do seminars, I think it's going to be pretty darn tough to find a better system and coach behind it, and a firm that's willing to pay for 2/3 or 3/4 of that coaching, which IAMS will do, Insurance Agency Marketing Services will do, and the reason they're doing that because they know once the coaching comes into play, the odds of you being successful go up. Isn't guaranteed, but it certainly goes up. So, Steve, I'm going to turn this over to you. If you could kind of pop up that the slide for the poll, and then I will let you take it from here.
Thanks, Dave. Great job as always. I did just launch the poll, so you should have it before you on the screen there. As you're considering that, Dave mentioned there towards the end that we do pay for a good portion of the coaching. And as we looked at the new producer builders, for those of you that have not taken advantage of the new producer bonus program, you know that we also can pay for 100% of the coaching and also your first mailing. So we can kind of auto start you in the seminar business. As Dave mentioned as well, we think that with the coaching, if seminars is where you want to go, we think that coaching, frankly, is indispensable. I don't think you want to try and get into that business today without coaching. Not because you couldn't be successful, because we've had some folks do it when we many years ago now. I'm terrible with times, but I know it's been more than 15 years ago. We used to offer the opportunity to have our producers give our seminars to many of our other folks that were interested in getting in the seminar business, but that's all we did. We said, here's a seminar, and thought that would be enough. Maybe give a little information on mail house that you could use and things like that. But what we found out was that the failure rate was very, very high, and really that was on us. That was our fault. And in default, if anyone offers you a seminar opportunity that it just is slides, you need to run from that, because that is a recipe for, if not disaster, at least success far less than what you should enjoy when you get in the seminar business. And the reason for that is because there are so many facets to being successful, from the right location to the right invitation to the right timing on the mailing to the right mail group that you send it to how to introduce yourself at the seminar, to how to close up a seminar for the appointment, how to get from appointment to the second appointment, how to get the second appointment to sale. There's so many facets of that are very individual, very tied in very closely to how you do each of those steps in a seminar type setting, that you really need to be successful. You really need to have coaching along every step of the way. And coaching is great, but quality coaching is what I think is really makes a difference. And that quality of coaching comes from really a couple of different areas. Number one, do they have the experience? Number two, are they currently doing it? Because things are changing all the time. Number three, having the interest in the success of the individual is, I think, really paramount. And we've been really fortunate with our top producers, and Dave, of course, being one of those, that works in the coaching is not just here's the information, good luck, but it's here's the information, and step by step, always available to help along the way, because they want to see you be successful. And that's what we appreciate about them and Dave as much or more than anything else. And that's really what the key to success is. So if you've thought about doing seminars, maybe had opportunity to, if you tried to do seminars before and not has been as successful as you wanted to be, I would say, number one, try again. And number two, do it with Dave Pimper, because I don't know of anyone that does a better job of the coaching part, that has the level of experience that Dave has and the level of expertise that Dave has in that business. So if you're considering that at all, whether you want to do it around 401k IRA rollovers, or whether you want to do it around Social Security or 8 retiree mistakes, if you want to get in the seminar business, if 2019 is the year you think you ought to take that plunge, now, today, is the time to get that process started, because it takes a little while to get up and running and get everything set up the way that you want it to be just ready to go when the calendar changes over to 2019. So, Dave, the only question we had, really one question from about 6 different people, and that is really the economics of seminars. So I know that we've got probably some people that have done seminars in the past out there, but we definitely have some folks that have not, it looks like, based on some of the questions that we're seeing. So give us a quick rundown from your standpoint of kind of the economics of doing a seminar, and then what your experience has been in terms of kind of the return on that investment from your standpoint.
Sure. when I do a mail out, I mail out 6,000 pieces, and we help you with the demographics. So the demographics in Los Angeles or Orange County or Houston or Miami, they're certainly going to be different than it is in Fremont or Omaha, Nebraska. So we look at the demographics, and we're looking at the zip codes. We're looking at the area. We're looking at age, net worth, investable assets. We're looking at a lot of different things. We hone that on in. On the average list, we feel that it's about 90 to 93% correct. So it's not perfect. Once in a while, but age. I mean, you know what? We don't want to mail out to a 25 or 30-year-old, and that's the difference of advertising on the paper, or you know, you're hitting so many different demographics of people. We can be very narrow here. We also want investable assets. We want to know that the people that are coming have some type of assets. Now, whether they'll invest with us is one thing, but we know that there's a 90 to 92% chance that those assets are there. Whether it's 100,000, 200,000, $500,000, $1 million, we can go in. And of course, the higher up you go, the lesser people there are to mail. So we do that. So we mail out 6,000. This is a full color front and back card stock. It's an 8.5 by 11 folded, and pretty impressive. And we've got the format for this that has been very successful for the 401k, and the cost on that is 55 cents. So there's $3,300 that's in the mailing itself, and then the dinner, we hope to get 20 people a night. So we'd like to mail out 6,000 and we'd like to get 35 to 45 people between two nights. If it's $20 a head for 40 people, that's $800. So you got 33, and 800 is 4,100. Another $100 for the 800 reservation service, taking for those 40 reservations. That's 42. So, and if you have any kind of, normally we have this at a restaurant. We'd rather do that than have it catered. And they probably have hopefully you'll find a room that has lots of them now have projectors and screens that are already built in, or you know, screens could be large television. 60th television screen is one of them that we use at a bar and grill. But you know, your cost is going to be in that $4,000 neighborhood. So what happens is this is proprietary, because I put this together. I have a FINRA review letter for it, for the PowerPoint presentation. So you pay me $195, and IAM pays me $555, and we're off to the races. And then we coach for 5 sessions. And what I hope to get, is if I can get $250,000 to $300,000 in from that seminar in assets under management, meaning either they're in fixed index annuities, whether it's a single premium life insurance. I'm in the securities business also, so it could be stocks or bonds or funds or variable annuities. But whatever you do that, but I will say this is that the seminar does not set up the sale. The seminar sets up the appointment. That is your job, to go in and to be the advisor, the educator, to go in and to close that specific attendee or that prospect, you know, in with an investment or with a strategy that is good for them. So we're trying to get in front of a lot of people. But if I can do $250,000 to $300,000, have we done much more? Of course we have. Have we done less? Of course we have. But I'll tell you, that's my goal on each and every one. And if you put $250,000, $300,000, then you've made all your money back plus a pretty good RO rate of return, you know, on your money. So that kind of gives you the background, Steve, real quick, at kind of how that works.
Thank you, Dave. Hopefully that answers the questions that we have out there. I think you covered most of the ground that they had questions on. I really appreciate your honesty. I've been so many, you know, so often you see, close 80% of your attendees for millions of dollars. And I really appreciate the fact that when our guys come and join you for a webinar, that you're giving them information and an outlook that they can really kind of count on. And because, we're all in the business of making sure that the money that we're spending is putting us in a position to be successful. And I think that's a really very realistic outlook at what people can expect from seminars. So I appreciate that. I think we've gotten all of our questions then answered. If there is another question that arises, I hope that you'll give me a call here at the office. It's 800-255-5055. I'll be glad to put you in touch with Dave. Or if you have questions about anything that I spoke about, I'll be glad to answer those as well. With that, I'm going to close the poll. Thank you all for voting so quickly. Also, thank you all for joining us today. We had a great turnout for a pre-holiday kind of situation that we have this week. So thank you for joining us here today. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you taking some time out. I know your schedule is jam-packed with appointments right now. Congratulations on that, by the way. And whatever we can do to help you here at IAMS, that's what we're about, is finding ways to help you grow your business. And whether it's seminars or mailings or, anything that we can do to help you meet more people and show them what you can do to make their life better in retirement. That's what we want to do here at IAMS. So let us help you. Give us a call if we can help you in any way at 800-255-5055. If I don't talk to many of you before Thanksgiving, hopefully you have a great and thankful season with your family, and we look forward to helping you then after the holiday. Have a great finish to your week. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great one. Bye-bye.